Hello and welcome to Besties in Book Lore, the series where two besties talk about their current reads, both good and bad. Today we're talking about our March reads and favorites. And we'll go ahead and start off with our favorites. We've been doing Treat Ida Media, and so we'll start off with Treat. You want to go first?
So the treat, Alex already knows this. I've been eating the sour gummy watermelons, the low sugar ones, and I have literally bought too many packages of them. But I love them. I've been eating them. I don't know. The sourness has been hitting this month, so that
Yeah,
will definitely continue into April. But that has been my evening treat is a little drink and the sour watermelons. So
love that. I love the regular full sugar ones, so I'm sure that those are great and a better option. But I'm right there with you. I've been in gummies have been really good lately. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a spring, like it feels like fruity, springy.
yeah, it feels like a springy vibe.
Yeah. So mine for the third month in a row will be Alani because they had a new flavor come out again, which is the sherbet swirl, and it's really good. I think might like it better than the strawberry sunrise. Um, they're both
Wow.
really, and they're very similar, flavor
Yeah.
profiles. So, I have been trying to cut down on energy drinks, but I have one once a week, and it's probably if I can get my hands on it, it'll probably be that one for a while. So, that was mine. I had a hard time coming up with an item. I don't know. I just didn't really have one, but I'm gonna say my Ninja Creamy, which I got for Christmas. I feel like it's starting to warm up a little bit, and I'm feeling more in an ice cream mood. So I've been trying to make some of those. So
That's
that's
fair.
yeah, that's mine. What about you?
I'm trying to be a hat person in 2025. And
Oh,
so in honor of baseball season starting, I got myself a new Phillies hat that I've been trying to wear, trying to figure out how to do my hair, becoming a hat person. So we'll see if that pans out for me in 2025.
love it. Last thing, media. Do you want to go first?
This has been a years long obsession, but we have been really rocking to Love Me to Heaven by the Jonas Brothers. I just bought tickets for us to take our 8-year-old to see the Jonas Brothers in Philly in August.
Fun.
And so we will probably be listening to the Jonas Brothers from now until then and beyond. But
Also,
I've been loving their new song.
also feels very spring,
Yeah,
summer
it's so
vibes.
upbeat. It's really good. The
Yeah,
vibes are so good.
love it. Mine is Survivor. Me and my husband are obsessed with Survivor. I've been watching it since it started, which was 45 seasons ago, 47 seasons ago, something like that. And we love it so much, and it finally came back. So we've been loving that. That's our date night show, I guess. In the middle of the week, we'll eat out, put the kids to bed, get something out, and watch that. And so that's been really fun. So that's our favorites. And now we'll go into our March reads. I'm starting off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so we read two books together.
That's right. We did. We read
We
two
read
books together.
one awesome book together and one not awesome book
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So we had kind of a split month with our buddy reads.
Yep. Yep. So we'll start off with a book that we got a little bit early on NetGalley, which was Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt. Is that
Yeah.
right? Okay? And we really loved this book. We've talked a tiny bit on our Instagram about it, but just kind of a unique storyline and funny, but also deep. I don't know. What were your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we've seen the second chance romance done before, but not in this way of they were a couple that had a baby as teenagers and they kind
Yeah,
of grew up together and then had this falling out in their marriage. They got divorced and had
worse.
been
Yeah,
divorced for years. It wasn't like they were just recently divorced. They've been divorced for a few years and their son's going off to college. And so they're trying to figure out who they are in this next chapter. And while I can't relate to the divorced or finding myself, I think that when you are in your 30s, you are trying to figure out who you are now, right? You're a different person than you were in your 20s. And I really resonated with that part of the story of like trying to figure out who I am now as like a full blown adult, right?
Yeah. My only, I guess would say critique would be, I feel like, I feel like I would have liked to see a little more like frustration between the two of them. Like, I feel like their divorce was maybe less believable because there wasn't a lot of like. I feel like when you divorce someone, it's like you're really frustrated with them and you are having a hard time
Yeah.
like existing with them. And it felt like the reason for the divorce felt a little weak, but I guess like that kind of needs to happen if you're gonna like bring them back together. You don't want so much turmoil to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's like, well, they shouldn't really get back together. So it's kind of a tricky thing, but I feel like she navigated it pretty well.
Yeah. The
And it
humor
was,
and banter was so good. She
yes,
just writes really nice characters that I really enjoy reading. This was, our third book, I think, by her, and
yeah,
she just writes good characters.
yeah. And I found that that's a really important when I'm reading a traditional romance or like a contemporary romance. Um, Humor is a huge thing for me. Like it has to have humor, otherwise it feels like cheesy. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
but when they're joking, like it feels uh I don't know, it feels more genuine to me than
Yeah.
just everything going perfectly and like it just being lovey dovey. Like it's nice. It brings more like character to it to me to have some humor. So yeah, I love that.
Agree. Well, thinking about that and like characters not seeming super authentic, I think our other book was Rebel Witch by Kristen Chiarelli. And so this is the second book after Heartless Hunter is the first book. This came out in February, so it was pretty new. And I felt like the characters were not super authentic. I felt like it was slow. It never got as deep as I quite wanted it to go. And it felt very surface level the whole time. So it wasn't like, oh my God, this is the worst book I've ever read. I'm going to DNF it. But
Yeah.
I just never felt like enraptured with the story in this book.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think that we've established that I liked this. I liked the first book better than Kim
Yeah.
did. I think Kim liked the first book better than the second book, right?
Yes.
But I think that I really enjoyed. Like I read it on KU, but then I went out and bought it. Like I really liked it a lot. But the second one, like I started out feeling hopeful, and then I just kind of was like, I don't want to say over it by the end, but I was just kind of less invested, I guess, in the characters and what happened by the end. Um,
Yeah, somehow she made you care less about the characters when the book finished than when the book started, which I am unsure how that accomplished, but
yeah. So a little disappointed. I don't think it was the worst thing I've ever read. I don't think it was like I wouldn't say if you read the first book, I think you should read the second one just to have that closure. But like I don't think it was a waste of time. But it was just not, it didn't live up to what I was hoping it would be.
yeah, I think we both saw a direction that it could have gone that would have been really excellent, and it just kind
Mhm.
of fizzled. The end was a little predictable, like things happened, but I never even felt like even something that should have felt surprising didn't really feel surprising. Um, yeah,
Yeah. So yeah.
yeah, meh on that one.
Yep.
But all
Okay.
right, so Alex read a few other
I
books.
did. I didn't read a ton. I mean, I've been pretty consistent in reading 6 books every month. So I read 6 books. I'm hoping to do more this month, and I'm kind of on track to do more. So I'm excited about that. I'm kind of like doing more audio, which I've found is helpful because it fits into my life. I can do other things while I listen. So that's helping me make more progress. But um, in March, I'm trying to think. I finished Plated Prisoner. So I read Gold and Goldfinch, and I really enjoyed it. I had some qualms about the end um, that I can't really talk about here unless I want to give spoilers.
Yeah, let's
Spoilers,
keep it no spoiler, but
but yeah, I had like I am like notoriously hard to please when it comes to a long series ending. So take that as you
I
may.
think you said overall you were happy you read it, even if you
Yeah.
didn't love the
Oh,
end.
what impressed me the most is how much I hated the first book versus how much I ended up enjoying the series. I felt like I wish that the first book had a little more of that so that because I wouldn't have been propelled to finish if it wasn't for you telling me like you really should.
Yeah.
I probably
My
would
husband is reading it now and he said the same. He's in the second book and he was like, I wish I liked the first one more.
yeah,
And I would agree with that. I
yeah,
wonder if like looking back on the series, she feels like maybe she wished she had done something
maybe.
different with the first book too, but
I think it helped to have that like contrast, like towards the end. You're like, wow, this person grew so much. Like a lot of the characters had such a journey and grew so much to like be somewhat start as someone you hated and then
yeah.
grew to be someone that you really really liked. And I think that that has to start with them kind of sucking in the beginning,
Yeah.
but I think that it like carried on. It carried on the whole book pretty much. You got like the last like 20 pages or something where like, oh, like I'm starting to like put things together and realize what like this person is why they are. But I feel like if we would have gotten like the first quarter of the second book would have been tagged onto the first book, I think it would have helped propel me. I mean, I think
Yeah.
about all the people that read that book and just hated it and then didn't keep going because they didn't have anyone
Yeah.
telling them. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. I
unfortunate.
feel like it's a little underhyped as far as the series goes.
Yeah.
Um, so I agree with you. I think there's people who see it and they probably read the first one and then they're like, this is not good. I don't want to keep going. And they miss out on something that's really good.
I will say, as a like precursor to anyone who might be interested in reading it, it's a bit crass sometimes. I would say probably the most crass book that I've read, as far as like the steamy scenes being just very blunt, like and like
Yeah.
not like as romantic and like abstract, very like this is exactly what's happening, and like you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, and also kind of violent, like graphic, I think maybe is a better word. Like things happening are described in detail, and it's like, oh, that's gross.
Agree.
So if either of those
It's
things,
a little dark. Like I think that the main male character in this series is darker than a lot of other romantasy series as we've read. Like you think of them both as like being kind of redeemable, and he's kind of not redeemable at any point in the series. But like you also don't care in the way the story is set up. Like you
yeah,
just kind of know who he is and kind of how he's become that way. And
and
it's
kind of everyone in the story sucks. Like
yeah,
as far as like, there's a lot of corruption and like
yeah,
no one like area of the world is like untouched by corruption. So
yeah,
everyone kind of has their thing that is not the perfect, stand up person. Uh,
totally.
but yeah, I enjoyed it. If that's your kind of thing, I would recommend it. But yeah, pushing through the first book to the second. I think the second one really does like get you though. So
Yeah.
I hate a series where
By
you
the end of book 2, you're like hooked on the series because you want to know what's going to happen after the end of book 2.
I hate when people say like, "Oh, you just have to get through like Throne of Glass. Like you just have to get through the first 3 or 4 books." It's like, well, that's like half the series. Like,
Yeah,
so I'm glad that the second book really is like you start really getting into it. So
for sure.
it sucks that you have to get through a book, but just know that it's setting you up for the rest of the series, I guess, and kind of has a purpose. But
Yeah, and
so
I think we'll both keep reading books by her because I did really like it. She's writing a
yeah,
new series right now. She talked about it on her Instagram. So I'm excited to read more by her.
yeah, she's a great author.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed that. Um, and then I also read Savor It, which is another Tara DeWitt book, just kind of in preparation for Left of Forever because they're like interconnected standalones. So I probably didn't need to do that, but I just kind of wanted to get a feel for her like writing style and all that before I went into Left of Forever. And that was great. No like major notes. It was really good. I really like her writing, like no cringing. Like that's usually my bar for like um romance, like traditional romance is like,
Yeah.
is it cringy to me? And no, she like everything was very smooth. She was funny. It was great. Um And then the last one is The Love of My Afterlife, which actually I meant to like, I have these two books. I meant to like put them up, but The Love of My Afterlife, which was so cute, so quirky, and like it's a magical realism um, romance. And it was just, I don't know, it was refreshing. It was different. It was like, didn't take itself too seriously, very funny. Um, but also had like this really sweet message, I guess, and lesson. And I really appreciated that. So I really had a good time reading The Love of My Afterlife.
Yeah,
And
you were
I would
excited
recommend
reading
that.
it the whole time.
Yeah. And I think what's been so exciting about like my current reads, this is the end, near the end of March, um, is I'm like reading all the books that I've been looking forward to that I've been sitting on my TBR that I'm like, I really like, I'm excited to read that. It took me a while to buy it and I just kept seeing it in the store. And then the fact that it like lived up to my expectations was really exciting. So,
Yeah.
a fun one, just like a good one if you need like something lighthearted and like just good and wholesome, I guess. So, loved that. And those were mine. It
Nice.
was a good,
Um,
I think.
yeah, overall, I actually think I had a really good month too. I think I said this to you at the end of March that I was like, I read a lot of books that were like highly rated books for me, and that isn't normal. Like I'm honestly like sometimes I just read garbage because I just want to read garbage, and I'm fine with that. This month I was like, no, I actually feel like I read a lot of good books. Um, I dove into the world of Julie Soto and I read 5 things by Julie Soto this month, which I didn't realize I was doing until I was like deep into it.
Yeah.
So I read her 2 traditional romances, Not Another Love Song and Forget Me Not, both of which very cute, really loved them, very well done. And then I took a dive into some of her fanfics. So for those who don't know, Julie Soto has written Harry Potter fanfiction, and so you can get it on AO3 if you've read other fan fiction. That's where a lot of fan fiction is housed. So it's The Right Thing to Do and All the Wrong Things were the 2 Harry Potter fanfics I read. Um, they were great, a really good read. I loved them. They're Hermione Draco fanfics, which is Hermione. It's a pretty common genre of fanfiction. Um, these lead into her fanfic, The Auction, which is off of AO3 because it's going to be published as Rose and Chains over the summer. So I did pause. I am currently, like, as we are filming right now, I'm currently reading The Auction. So it'll be in my April reads. But um, yeah, I loved it. And then I got on Read Now on NetGalley her book, The Thrashers, which is a YA thriller. So different than all these romances. And I loved it. I loved it. It had me so scared. It had me on the edge of my seat wanting to know what was going to happen. It
And
was
that
like,
was unusual for you to
it
read a
was.
thriller. Yeah.
I don't read thrillers at all. It was like out of my comfort zone, but I had read everything else by Julie Soto. So it's like, I'm just going to read it. And it
Yeah.
was really good. It's like 13 Reasons Why, Mean Girls. They're like high school students. They have like kind of mean vibes. A girl commits suicide. I posted a little video about it if you want to go see, but it was really, really good. That was my last, like one of my last books for the month, and it was 5 stars. It was so good. I also, unlike me, I finished Chaos by Tom O'Neill, which is about Charles Manson. This book is really long, and I listened to it on audio, and it took me 40 days. Did I say? I think it took me about 40 days to finish it
Yeah.
on audio. It was very, very hefty. If you are interested in Charles Manson, I think it's a must read. It didn't rate that highly for me because I feel like it's a niche book. Like, you would have to know a lot about Charles Manson, and you probably should read Helter Skelter before you read this book. Um, but it was really interesting when I'm interested in that. Um, so yeah, I finished that. What else did I read that was really good? Oh, I read Wild Side by Elsie Silver, like right when it came out. I love this series. It's Wild Love, Wild Eyes, Wild Side. She has a 4th one coming out, the final one in the series in September. Um, it's Elsie Silver's just so good. Like the way she writes characters, I just love it. The humor is so good. I If you like her Chestnut Springs series, I think this one is slightly better. And so I loved it. It was great. I read Well Actually by Maisie Eddings, which I got to read now on NetGalley. I think this comes out in August. So funny. Talk about a book that like gave you good, like it was so funny. It's about a girl who has a show, like a YouTube show where she eats hot dogs with celebrities. That's like her job. And then she trash talks a very famous like Instagrammer. And so they end up like working together to kind of create content and build some momentum off of her like viral bashing of him. And they have known each other. They used to date each other. So it's like a second chance romance with lots and lots of humor. It had me laughing out loud. So highly recommend when that comes out in August. And then the rest of the month was pretty much just sports books. But I will say, I read what I think is the best hockey series that I've read. And Alex knows I'm a hockey girly. I've read tons of different hockey series. I love reading hockey romance books. So I think it's the DC Stars series is the name of the series.
Can I just say that I think that's so funny because hockey's like the one sport that you don't watch really. Like
I have actually grown up watching hockey. My brother played hockey until he was in high school. We did actually go to Flyers games a lot when I was kids. So we were big Flyers fans.
Like,
but
Kim's actually like really into sports, but doesn't really watch that much hockey.
No, I don't really.
Interesting.
No. And in Baltimore, where we live now, there is no hockey team. So we don't even have hockey here. I would say I'm still a Flyers fan, but it's been a minute since I've gone to a hockey game. But yes, I do actually, out of all the sports books I could read, I usually read hockey, which is funny. But this one was so good. So it was by Chelsea Curto, but I think it's a DC Stars series. It's like a DC based hockey team. It was Face Off, Power Play, and Slapshot. She has a fourth book in that series coming out in May, and I can't wait to read it. Usually I would find these books to be on the trashy side, and actually I felt like all of these had a little bit more content and heart. I would say, as a warning, Power Play is very spicy. The rest of them are not as spicy. They're like a normal level of spice for romance. Power Play was like a lot, but I liked her writing. I'm really excited to keep reading her. I really enjoyed them. So I think that was almost everything. I read a couple other sports books. I read Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey. I read Unsteady by Peyton Corinne, both of which were fine. They weren't like bad reads, but they were fine.
Yeah.
Oh, the last one I read was I had an advanced copy of Avidian by Ashley R. O'Donovan. I did a video about this on our page too, and you can look at it, but really good kind of mystery paranormal book. So she has powers. She's like trying to solve a murder. So it was something a little bit different that I hadn't read. I really liked it, and it's going to be a series. So I recommend it. It's on KU, but you're also okay to like wait on that if you want to wait until the rest of the books come out in the series.
Kim's been the ARC queen lately.
Yeah, I've read a bunch of them. I have 2 more on NetGalley right now, so I'll have 2 more for my April reads of a couple of them. But
that's fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
well, yeah, you said, have you reached 50 yet this year, or does that
when I finish the auction, which I'm 65% of the way in right now, that would be my 50th book. So in March, I got to about 47. So I think I did 15, 16, and 16 for the first 3 months. So
nice.
Yeah.
I think I'm like 7 books ahead of my goal on Storygraph.
That's about where I am too.
Yeah. Well, my goal is much lower than yours. But
if people want to know, my goal